The Commission's recommendation of an increase in prices on milk at the farm gate reflects an attempt to compensate farmers for increased costs for feed, fuel, and fertilizer. And that increase in prices is going to feed through into the dairy case in our supermarkets.
I'm Natalie Nanowski, and this is the Midweek Exchange. We're going to break down those big economic issues and explain how they could impact your life. Brett House, Scotiabank's VP and Deputy Chief Economist, is here to help us with all of that. Hi, Brett.
Hi, Natalie. Good to make it to another Wednesday with you.
Good to see you too today. And I want to talk to you about something we've spoken about over and over, and that is how the cost of basically everything has gone up. And now the Canadian Dairy Commission is recommending a price increase of more than 8% on its products. This is obviously going to have a trickle-down effect everywhere. Take us through that.
The Commission's recommendation of an 8.4% increase in prices on milk at the farm gate reflects an attempt to compensate farmers for increased costs for feed, fuel, and fertilizer. And that increase in prices is going to feed through into the dairy case in our supermarkets, with rises in prices on the order of 10 to 15% for our most commonly bought dairy products.
So things like cheese, milk, butter.
All those prices are going to go up, and they're going to go up on the wholesale side too. So restaurant meals and quick service snacks are going to be a bit more expensive as well. And I think we're going to see those prices trickle through into other parts of the economy as well. But we are still expecting inflation to come down next year as some of these bottlenecks and hiccups in reopening the economy work their way through.
One set of prices that we saw go down during the summer is lumber prices. They were at a low. Now they seem to be climbing back up again. What is happening there?
Well, the lumber sector is a really good case study in how it's easier to close down an economy than it is to open it back up again. And the recovery and reopening isn't moving in a straight line in lumber, nor is it doing so in almost any major part of the economy. In lumber, as you mentioned, we saw a huge spike in prices last year as a result of a big increase in DIY and home renovations happening. And we saw a really expected market response to that. When prices went super high, people pulled back on those renovations. They delayed them, and we saw an increase in supply come into the market. That pushed prices down this past summer, but again, a market response was a return of renovators and a big increase in new construction starts. And that together has pushed prices up again. And it's probably a pretty good sign of what we'll see in a number of areas where back and forth demand and supply dynamics are going to mean that prices move in a slightly jerky fashion as we try to get the economy fully back to normal.
Okay, so those people who maybe put off renovating or some of those do-it-yourself projects, should they push them back further?
Well, if you have the flexibility to do so, you might consider it. But I think the bigger lesson here is, just as in stock markets, timing lumber prices is a very difficult thing. And the bigger assessment to make is, will the value of a renovation more than pay for itself in terms of satisfaction, the value in the property, or other needs or demands that you have to fulfill?
All important things to consider, of course. And when it comes to next week, what should we be looking forward to?
Well, the COP26 environmental conference in Glasgow is ongoing to the end of next week, and we're going to see announcements on a day-by-day basis on agreements amongst major economies on different actions to try to contain climate change. We just had an announcement on deforestation, and we'll likely see other announcements that could affect big sectors of our economies and the prices that we pay in our household budgets.
Again, some big things to watch out for. Thanks so much, Brett.
Good to speak with you.
Good to speak with you too. And we'll have more Midweek Exchange coming up next Wednesday.